Chapter 1. The silent cry of the ocean. The sun was rising over the horizon, casting golden rays across the endless stretch of water. Waves rolled gently toward the shore, whispering their timeless lullabies. To an untrained eye, the beach looked beautiful, but closer inspection revealed a darker truth. Plastic bottles, food wrappers, tangled fishing nets, and broken toys littered the sand. Pieces of microplastics sparkled like deadly jewels under the sunlight. What should have been a paradise for crabs, seagulls, and tiny hatchling turtles was instead a graveyard of human neglect. Deep beneath the waves, marine creatures struggled silently. A sea turtle swam slowly, its shell scarred from entanglement in fishing lines. A dolphin mother nudged her calf, who had swallowed a floating plastic bag, mistaking it for a jellyfish. Coral reefs, once bursting with color and life, were turning pale and brittle, suffocated by pollution. The ocean was crying, but few could hear it. Chapter 2. The call to action. On the edge of that same beach stood Maya, a 23-year-old marine biology student. Her heart ached as she watched a seabird peck at a plastic cap, choking in the attempt to swallow it. She clenched her fists, whispering to herself, "This has to stop. Someone has to do something." But Maya knew that someone had to be her. She opened her notebook and scribbled down an idea. Ocean cleanup drive, save marine life. That very evening, she created a social media post calling for volunteers to help clean the coastline. The post read, "The ocean gives us life. Now it's our turn to give life back to the ocean. Join me this weekend for a beach cleanup. Together we can save marine life, one piece of plastic at a time." To her surprise, within hours, dozens of people responded. By the next morning, her inbox was overflowing with messages from students, fishermen, teachers, and even elderly citizens eager to help. The ocean had found its voice through the hearts of volunteers. Chapter 3. The first cleanup. The weekend arrived. Maya stood at the beach wearing gloves and holding a trash bag. Slowly, people began to gather. Some came with their families, others with friends, and a few even brought their children along, wanting them to learn the importance of protecting nature. Among the volunteers was Arjun, a fisherman whose livelihood depended on the sea. He had lost 2 nets and countless hours untangling plastic waste from his catch. His voice was rough but sincere when he said, "If we don't take care of the ocean won't take care of us." The group spread out across the sand, collecting every piece of waste they could find. They pulled plastic bottles from the waves, untangled ropes from driftwood, and picked up thousands of cigarette butts buried in the sand. It wasn't easy. The sun was blazing, the air thick with humidity, and the smell of rotting seaweed mixed with garbage made many gag. But they pressed on. Each bag filled was a small victory. Each piece of plastic removed meant one less threat to a fish, a turtle, or a dolphin. By evening, they had collected nearly 500 kilograms of waste. Standing in front of the massive pile of trash, the volunteers felt a mix of pride and sadness. Pride that they had saved the ocean from this much poison. Sadness that so much more still remained. But this was just the beginning. Chapter 4. The struggles. As the cleanups continued, the volunteers faced challenges. Some people mocked them, saying, "Why bother? The ocean is too big. You can't clean it all." Others criticized them online, calling their efforts pointless compared to large-scale industrial pollution. But Maya reminded her team, "We may not clean the entire ocean, but every bottle, every net, every piece of plastic we remove gives a marine animal another chance to live." The volunteers also struggled physically. Heavy bags caused back pain, sharp objects caused cuts, and the scorching sun drained their energy. Yet each time they looked into the ocean's eyes, each time they saw a fish leap joyfully or a turtle crawl safely, they knew it was worth it. Chapter 5. The turning point. One morning, while cleaning, a group of children screamed. Maya rushed over, fearing the worst. There, lying tangled in a fishing net, was a young sea turtle. Its flippers were trapped, and its breathing was weak. With trembling hands, Maya and Arjun carefully cut the ropes. The turtle flapped wildly at first, then went still, exhausted. The volunteers held their breath. Would it survive? Finally, the turtle lifted its head, took a deep gulp of salty air, and swam toward the open sea. The entire beach erupted in cheers. For the first time, the volunteers felt the ocean's gratitude. This moment spread like wildfire on social media. News channels covered the story, and people began joining from other towns. What started as a small group of volunteers was now becoming a movement. Chapter 6. The Ripple Effect. Schools invited Maya to speak to students about ocean conservation. Local fishermen promised to reduce plastic waste and recycle old nets. Shops near the beach agreed to stop giving plastic bags. The impact was spreading. Children painted murals of dolphins, turtles, and whales with the message, "Keep the ocean blue." A local radio station launched a weekly program on marine life. Even tourists began joining cleanup drives, posting pictures with hashtags like #SaveMarineLife and #Volunteers for Ocean. Every act of kindness was a ripple, and together they created a wave of change. Chapter 7. The Bigger Battle. Yet the ocean's wounds were deep. During one cleanup, the volunteers found the lifeless body of a dolphin washed ashore. Its stomach was filled with plastic. The sight broke their hearts. Maya cried silently that night. She wrote in her journal, "We save one turtle but lose a dolphin. We clean one beach but the ocean is still drowning in waste. Is it enough?" The next day, Arjun put a hand on her shoulder. "Maya, we can't save them all, but because of us, some live, that is enough to keep going." His words reignited her spirit. The battle was bigger than them, but every small victory mattered. Chapter 8. A United World. Months passed. The movement grew internationally. Environmental organizations took notice. Volunteers from other countries began cleaning their local beaches, inspired by Maya's team. Documentaries were made. Fundraisers supported larger cleanup efforts. Technology was introduced, floating barriers to trap plastic, recycling machines, and awareness campaigns in multiple languages. What began as a handful of people on a small beach had grown into a global effort to save the ocean. Chapter 9. The Ocean's Gift. One evening, after a long day of cleaning, Maya sat on the sand watching the waves. The horizon was painted with orange and purple hues. Suddenly, she saw something move in the distance, tiny shapes crawling across the sand. It was a nest of baby turtles. For the first time in years, the hatchlings were making their journey to the sea without being blocked by trash. The volunteers stood silently, tears in their eyes, as they watched the tiny creatures disappear into the waves. It was the ocean's way of saying thank you. Chapter 10. The Legacy. Years later, Maya's movement had grown into a global NGO called Blue Hope. Thousands of beaches had been cleaned, millions of tons of plastic removed, and countless marine lives saved. Children who once joined cleanups with their parents had grown into young leaders, carrying forward the mission. The ocean still faced challenges, but it was healthier, bluer, and more alive than before. And it all began with a single voice, a single choice, a single group of volunteers who refused to give up.